It's a way of sports. It's Lamont back, another podcast episode. Got some more NBA news for you guys out of Charlotte. And Charlotte's been one of the more interesting teams this offseason, kind of because some of the drama, but also because they have some of the most glaring holes in their team that need to be filled, but with little to no options out there in the free agency market to fill them. So the Charlotte Hornets, just to kind of summarize their offseason, man, if you think that the roster was bad, the Charlotte Hornets already have had an issue with replacing Coach James Borrego. They did initially hire Kenny Atkinson, the Golden State Warriors assistant, to replace James Borrego, who was fired. But unfortunately, Kenny Atkinson then had a change of heart not even a week after agreeing to take the head coaching job in Charlotte. And so he's going to be returning back to the Golden State Warriors as an assistant for the 22-23 season. So the Hornets, now left scrambling, decided to hire a familiar face and bring back Steve Clifford. Now, Steve Clifford was the head coach of the team from 2013 to 2018, and he compiled a regular season record of 196 and 214 games with 2 playoff appearances. And now with Steve Clifford back on the sideline, who most recently coached in Orlando, many believe that we could see his former standout point guard when he formerly had coached the Hornets, I think, who were then known as the Bobcats. But many believe that they could bring back Kemba Walker. And this was reported by Sham Shariana of The Athletic. And he says that it's a real possibility we could see this reunion. Let's go ahead and get to the breaking news video by Sham Shariana.
I'm Shams Charania here with breaking news presented by AT&T 5G.
Sources tell me the Hornets are considering a reunion with former franchise cornerstone Kemba Walker, among other point guards in the free agent marketplace. The team is also interested in the potential re-signing of Isaiah Thomas, who had strong play last season and emerged as a positive locker room leader in Charlotte. The Hornets have a potential need for another reserve point guard and are expected to be patient in their roster moves as the team awaits the legal process of restricted free agent Miles Bridges from felony charges for domestic violence and child abuse.
You guys heard it right there. Now, this Charlotte Hornet team, they definitely have one of the biggest holes that they've had over the last couple of years with this roster is having a viable backup point guard to back up LaMelo Ball and maybe even mentor him to a certain degree. Now, last year, they brought on Isaiah Thomas as of late. And as far as, boosting that locker room and being that veteran presence in the locker room, we're hearing that he was a really, really good presence for that team going down the stretch. So many believe he's also in consideration for the backup point guard spot as well. So this is likely, as Shams already stated, this is going to be a slow developing process for the Hornets, who are being extremely patient with their roster moves right now. They have to wait and kind of navigate this situation with Miles Bridges, who was charged with that the potential felony domestic situation, and then child abuse charges were added later. So that's a situation that they're going to have to tread carefully with. So Walker, as many know, he spent his first 8 seasons with the Hornets, making 3 All-Star appearances. He then departed as a free agent in 2019. He went to Boston to replace Kyrie Irving. And then just unfortunately for Walker, injuries have kind of overcome him since that time. And so after playing all 82 games in his final season with the Hornets, Walker's games played total has decreased each season. He's played 56 games in his first season with the Celtics and then 43 after that. And then he was traded to OKC and they ended up buying his contract out. So he signed a free agent deal with the Knicks, but he only played 37 games. And then he was removed from the rotation twice by Tom Thibodeau. And so knee injuries that he's just been battling. And again, he's been battling these knee injuries since college. They just kind of sapped a lot out of his quickness. The quickness is what made him who he is. And he just has lost that burst. So having the best player in franchise history return to the Hornets, that could potentially mean something because he could play that mentor role to LaMelo Ball. Can he accept that role? I know I've heard that with other teams, he struggled to accept that lesser role. He still believes he's that guy of old. I think he's going to have to come to terms with who he is of now. And I think if he can do that, he would be a great backup point guard for this team because of his veteran experience. So you guys, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts on the Charlotte Hornets if you're a Charlotte Hornets fan. Again, a very intriguing roster. You have the contract to Gordon Hayward. We've heard that contract getting floated around out there in trade talks, potentially for Russell Westbrook. I mean, I don't know how much of a difference that would make as far as level of competition for this Charlotte team. I don't know if it makes them much better. And then with a ball-dominant player like Russell Westbrook, that's probably going to have a direct impact on LaMelo Ball. So I just don't see that being a trade that Charlotte's probably going after right now as well. You got Terry Rozier. I think he's one of the cornerstone pieces that you want to keep alongside LaMelo, right, because of his age and his experience. You have Kelly Oubre, who somewhat of a disappointing year. I thought he could do much better than what we saw last year, but he has 1 year left on his deal. They re-signed Plumlee to the 1 year, $9 million. Foresee that could potentially be a trade bait contract. I don't know if he's necessarily worth 1 year, $9 million. So we have to wait to the All-Star break trade deadline to see what happens with him. Obviously, you have LaMelo. Bridges with the legal situation is up in the air. Cody Martin was re-signed. PJ Washington, still a question mark to me. He got better last year, but is it good enough? Book Knight, who's dealing with the hand injury right now. We didn't see him in Summer League. You have Mark Williams. He had some flashes in Summer League, but without a true point guard on that Summer League team, we really struggled to see the best of Mark Williams or what could potentially be of him. Kai Jones, super athletic, energetic player, had somewhat of a down Summer League, but that potentially could have been due to the lack of point guard play that they had. And then we have Jalen McDaniels, Nick Richards, got players like that, obviously, that are completing this roster. They did sign Bryce McGowens to that two-way deal. They still have another two-way slot open. It's been projected that second two-way spot's going to go to LJ Figueroa, who had a great Summer League outing. And then he's a point guard as well. So, again, you always want to have that depth at that spot, essentially, especially since that's been one of your biggest struggles. So, Charlotte Hornets have a lot going on right now in the organization. And just like Shams mentioned in his video, I think they're doing the right thing by taking this process slowly. See how things go with Miles Bridges, right? Because they have a roster. I think right now they're dealing with potentially up to 17 to 18 players that they have to make decisions on. Whether some guys have team options, qualifying offers, things like that, decisions will have to get made. What guys are they going to send down to the G League? What guys are going to now come up to the primary roster? And then what vets right there? What vets out there in free agency can you add to this roster? Because they're an extremely young team still. And I think that's been their Achilles heel in the last two play-in games. This is why they struggled in play-in games, because I don't think they had the veteran presence or the veteran leadership to get them through the pace of a playoff style game. But I like the trajectory of LaMelo Ball. I think he's fine. But Charlotte right now is in a very tough situation because you have so many people that want to see them win right now. And that process to get where they want to be is going to take time. I've already told people that you're going into the summer of 23 or going into the summer of next season with over $60 million in cap space. I feel like that's when they can make some major moves to really put some star talent around LaMelo. We can start to see then how this team can start to shape out and be in the future. But as it stands going into this year, I think it's going to be another tough year for Charlotte fans. So you guys just want to, go ahead and bite the bullet on this year. Hope that they can have somewhat of a solid regular season. Maybe make a push to get to that 7 or 8 seed. Maybe better. You never know. All you want to do is you want to see growth. You want to see them get into the playoffs, get some playoff experience under their belt, and then you can go into the offseason next year with a whole bunch of cash on your hands. And can that front office do their due diligence and lure some big name free agents into Charlotte. That's something that they've always struggled with in the past. I know many feel that they can't do it, but I think Charlotte's in a situation where they can't run around saying that they can't. They just have to go get it done. No excuses. So a lot of work to be done over there, but still you got some promising young players with Book Knight, LaMelo. I like Mark Williams, obviously Miles Bridges. I mean, I love JT Thor, Kai Jones. I mean, they have a solid young core that you can build around, and it's just how do you develop it going forward in the future. Man, if you're a Charlotte Hornet fan, make sure you engage in the video. Let me get your comments on this. Do you guys think bringing back Kemba Walker or Isaiah Thomas is the best move? I know a lot of people have been throwing that LiAngelo Ball signing out there, but again, that signing, it would essentially be pointless for this team. They don't need any more shooting guards. They already have a ton of them. And I think they need to focus on the biggest problems that they're dealing with now. The center spot at the starting or backup power forward. How do you replace Bridges if he's suspended? Backup point guard. I think those are your biggest holes if you want to have some semblance of a successful season going into next year. It's FYF Sports, man. Another great podcast episode. We will be back with more sports and news. We will be getting back to the live stream, so make sure you guys subscribe. Hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss when we finally go live again here on FYF Sports. We've had to fall back from the lives. We have to set the foundational groundwork for this channel. This channel is not about going live every day, right? We want to have a more diverse base of content. And we can only do that by dropping videos like this to reach out to the masses. But it's FYF Sports, another great podcast episode. We will be back with more sports and news. But until then, it's FYF Sports, and we out.